Welcome back, everyone, to BBB Sharing. I'm Evie, Director of Ignite, sparked by BBB. I have with me today Josh, my coworker.
Hello, everybody.
All right, and I have Gabe, right?
No, it's Tim today.
Tim, okay. I always confuse on my emails because I'm not talking to people face to face.
Yeah.
But Tim, I met you in Charlottesville a month ago.
Yes, about 3-4 weeks ago,
Yep,
something like
about
that.
a month ago, and you work in Charlottesville for DAK Construction. You are one of the owners of DAK Construction, right?
Yes, my dad started the company in about when I was born, 1988. And then I'm kind of taking it over, so co-ownership now. But
Perfect. So what do you guys do exactly?
so our business is it's residential construction, and we do a heavy focus on exterior entertainment areas. So your decks, your screen porches. That's probably about 90% of what we do, and a lot of it is in composite materials as far as the surfacing for the porches and decks.
Perfect. So in Charlottesville, we talked about a few things, and one of them was being able to have that open communication with your customers or potential customers. Tell me a little bit about that and how you guys go about it.
As far as open communication in the during the project?
During and before, even when they're trying to get in contact with you to do work on a project for them.
Absolutely. So for one of the, I guess I'll start with one of the issues we were having as far as communications when I came back to the company was that with a high volume of customers coming and looking for our services, we didn't have a very good setup for dealing with that volume as far as, if they were emailing us, if they were calling us on the phone, leaving voicemails. So we set up a system that allowed us to have, at least be able to answer the phone and talk to the customers immediately when they call in. And then if it's email, if it's, we get a lot of Facebook message, Google message, stuff like that now too, that we're pinging them back immediately, setting up auto messages to ping them back, even if it is a canned message. It at least gives them some direction or lets them know, about how quickly we can get back. And then with our messages and emails, we set up, hired an admin that can look at and address those, get a message back to the customer, typically within 6 hours if it's during the workday. And then if it's, after hours overnight, we're in a 12, 24-hour max range for callbacks on voicemails and responding to emails and messages. So on the front end, that's made a big difference for us with our customers and their experience.
I actually believe that because one of the most complaints that I hear, especially when it comes to working on construction projects, is how long it actually takes a company to get back to them. And that's why I remembered the conversation that we had in Charlottesville, because it is so rare for that communication to happen that quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. On the same lines with communication, so once we contract with the customer and assign that project to a project manager, what we typically do is get that manager to either meet directly with the customer, or maybe it's a by phone, just to confirm everything on the project, but to give that customer their contact, their communication point of contact for the rest of their experience. So I manage 3 of our crews, and then I have another project manager managing the other 2. But when I get my project assignments, I typically will go meet with the customers. I'll give them my personal business phone so they can call me, they can text me. If there's an issue with the project, they've got direct access to someone in the company who can answer the question or get them to the right answer. So it's definitely helped with the experience we get from our customers. And then
Probably trust you a lot more too, knowing that they can get in contact with you.
Yeah, it definitely creates a better relationship there where it's more like you're working together to complete a project that they're going to be happy with, versus, just trying to kind of dodge or avoid until you get things done.
What's your favorite thing about what you do?
So me personally, I've growing up around the business, I kind of always liked that, instead of having to work for a company, my dad was able to build a company. And so that kind of inspired a little bit of how I went about my education. As I liked the idea of being in charge versus having to work for somebody where they get to make all the decisions. So I specifically like the aspect of the being in charge, building a business, and then having to look at, analyze, and make those decisions. It's exciting to me to try to look at a problem that we have as a business and figure out, hey, how are we going to address this? How are we going to fix it? Or to create, a goal of what we want to accomplish with the business, and then get on the back end of that and go, okay, here's where we want to be. What steps do we need to take to be able to get there? That's definitely what is kind of exciting and enjoyable about it for me.
See, you went the same route my sister went, and my sister was like, I want to be in the family businesses, and I ran in the other direction. But why did you guys decide to be an accredited business with the Better Business Bureau?
So when you're looking for differentiation points within an industry, construction in particular, one of the big barriers that you run into is that unfortunately in our industry, there are a lot of individuals and businesses that give us a bad name. Customers are naturally guarded about almost every aspect of their interaction with us, because their perception is that we're trying to get something over on them, we're trying to take advantage of them, or we're not going to do something we're supposed to. When you have a name like the Better Business Bureau attached to your company name, it just lends itself to giving you credit. It lends itself to giving the customers more, just
Having that security.
Yeah, they're going to have that at ease about them, because you've been vetted by an outside organization. It's not just me saying, hey, I'm trustworthy. It falls in line with the same thing, like getting really great customer reviews, a history of being in business a long time, things like that. It falls right in with that, having the Better Business Bureau attached to your company.
I agree. I think, and from having spoken to you previously as well, I can tell how much you guys care about your customers, how much you love what you do, and you guys take the time to really show that passion in your projects. You guys have an awesome social media. And actually speaking of social media, how can people reach you?
So the easiest way to reach us is through our online presence, our website. We've got dexbydak.com. It's set up with links for requesting estimate and or contact information if you want to get in touch with us on the phone for questions or other things like that. But we do free estimates for any projects, and we're happy to consult on anything construction related that folks have questions on.
Perfect. What's your favorite project that you've worked on so far?
Oh, there's so many. Favorite project. We've done a couple of really nice projects, but one in particular that stood out, we did beginning of last year. We don't do a lot of commercial projects. This was a deck that we did for a country club up in the Albemarle area. Glenmore Country Club approached us because we've built a lot of projects in their neighborhood over the years. So our name was kind of brought before the owner of the country club they were looking at, hey, let's expand our exterior decking area attached to our restaurant. Let's create something really nice out here for the residents. So they approached us to help them plan, organize, and then construct a new exterior dining area for their clubhouse.
Wow.
And it was very different because of the commercial aspect to it, with having to get into some different codes, different permitting, and then different construction. But it was a very fun project. It was a very big project. We got to use some really cool materials that we don't use all the time. But that's one that definitely stood out for me. That was really fun to do.
Awesome. I bet you guys were up to the task though.
It turned out fantastic. We've gotten a lot of great pictures, reviews, and then they do golf tournaments there all the time. So
Awesome.
they'll hang our sign ups on the deck for us and stuff. It's really nice.
That's amazing.
When you get a project, what is the first thing that goes into your head? Someone's like, hey, I need this done. What can you do? Do you just automatically do the layout, or is it pricing?
So typically it's a combination of things. A lot of folks will have a really good idea of exactly what they want. And then there's other folks who kind of know they want to do something, but they're not really quite there yet, and they need a little bit more expertise. So everything is customer specific. The first step is always getting to know your customer. I want to know, who you are, what you're trying to do with this project, what you want to do with that area, and how much space you have, what kind of budget you're working with. It's, you go through some initial questioning just to help understand what they want to accomplish and what kind of budget they have to accomplish that. And then, getting into, if we need to come out and help them design something, or if they're like, we've got a 16 by 16 deck, it's just old, we want to replace it. That's very, very cut and dry and simple. But yeah, a lot of times it's getting someone out there that's got the experience to look at the backyard and go, well, you could fit this here or that there, or like, here was your idea. I see what your vision is, but you can't put that there. Let's move it over here. Makes more sense. So we've got the experience to help walk them through that if they need us to take them from A to Z. Or if they're the kind of person who's, they're like, hey, I've got these plans printed out. This is what I want. Can you build it? Yeah. We work with all types.
Do you tend to have a stronger relationship or a deeper connection with the person who doesn't know what they want out of the deck because you have to communicate with them a little bit more, or?
It can be. I would say it's usually that starts to create a little bit more trust early on, because they have to rely on our expertise more.
Yeah.
And they get to see up front that what you're talking about when you're, going, yeah, you can go this direction, you can't do that here, or if you're going to attach this way, this is what you've got to do. This is the type of roof you can put on this structure versus, what you were thinking. So it creates that trust earlier, because they see a lot more of what you know, versus, if they know exactly what they want, there's not as much opportunity to connect with that customer. And then it can make it a little bit more edgy when they gave you plans and they're watching to see if you did it exactly like they asked versus you created something together and they've given you some creative control, and they get a little more loose and have a little more trust with, your recommendations throughout the project.
Okay.
That's awesome. Josh, do you have any more questions?
I think that's it for me, yeah.
All right. Well, Tim, thank you so much for coming in today. I know it was an hour journey for you, but I will say this, and I say this every time I talk to an accredited business that comes in here. You can tell how much passion they have for what they do, because they take the time to speak on the podcast for the consumers that are looking to do business with industries like you, with businesses like you. And so I really do appreciate it every time you and other accredited businesses come in here and talk about what you do and how much you love it. So Tim, thank you again. Josh, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you, Tim.
Yeah,
Everyone,
absolutely.
make sure to go to their website, and if you want to quote we talked about in here, they get back to you almost immediately, which is amazing. And make sure to listen to the podcast on Spotify, BBB Sharing, and watch the YouTube video. I know we lose our concentration after 10 seconds, but video, you keep focused, and it's awesome to watch and actually put a face to a name. And it's BBB Central Virginia. Make sure to like and subscribe and follow. Thank you.